So New York is getting very close to passing a ban on plastic bags. I will read you this article from Newsday, and then I will share with you my thoughts on it afterwards. Okay, so I'm going to read this article to you on the New York State news on a ban on single-use plastic bags. And it says such a ban would be combined with another component, a 5-cent fee on paper bags. So, New York would become the third state to ban single-use plastic bags, like those handed out at grocery and convenience stores under a deal lawmakers have all but finalized, multiple sources said on Thursday. The ban would be combined with another component, a 5-cent fee on paper bags, but that would be up to the counties and cities to opt in to imposing the nickel fee, leaving the discretion up to local politicians. That aspect could reduce the impact of the ban fee and push consumers into using paper bags more often, some disappointed lawmakers and environmentalists said. The ban is included as part of a roughly $175 billion state budget agreement lawmakers are hoping to finalize by Monday at the beginning of New York's fiscal year. A final version of the bag legislation could include some exemptions, such as for food deliveries, food storage bags, newspaper bags, and trash bags. Participants in the state's food stamps and WIC, Women's, Infants, and Children program for low-income households, would be exempt from the 5-cent fee. All right, I agree with that. Also, the new state legislation would preempt any previously enacted local laws on plastic and paper bags, effectively rescinding, for example, Suffolk County's 5-cent fee on both types of bags. The county would then have to reaffirm its fee on paper bags, perhaps through an administrative process. About 25 counties and municipalities in New York have enacted some kind of ban or fee on paper or plastic bags, according to Riverkeeper, an environmental group. New York would be following California and Hawaii in banning plastic bags. Some groups hailed it as a huge step forward, saying New York was joining a global movement toward prohibiting single-use plastic items. The European Union earlier this week voted to ban consumer plastic items such as plates, cutleries, and straws as of 2021 to help clean up the oceans. Plastic bags pollute our oceans and bays, damage our stormwater infrastructure, litter our neighborhoods, and become entangled in our trees. Jessica Otley-Mahar, New York Policy Director for the Nature Conservancy, said in an email. The agreement provides the localities the opportunity to enact a fee on single-use bags to encourage people to use their own bags and reduce waste. Because we supported such a fee statewide, we encourage all localities to act promptly. Assemblyman Stephen Engelbright from Setauket, chairman of the Assembly Environmental Committee, said plastic bags impose a very high cost to the environment, especially to marine animals such as whales and turtles who mistaken items for food. We are banning the plastic menace, he said. I think it's spectacular for the environment. He added the ban wouldn't become effective until March 2020 to allow merchants transition time. Some environmentalists, though, said the paper bag fee should have been made mandatory, or at minimum structured to make counties opt out rather than to opt into charging a fee. A huge disappointment if true, said Mark Dunley, the Green Party's candidate for state controller last year, said on Twitter about the fee structure. It will be very difficult politically for local governments to adopt standalone laws to enact a fee on paper bags or anything else. Would be classic case of punting a challenging issue to someone else, knowing it's unlikely to pass. Opt out is better, he said. We're creating a bit of Frankenstein's monster, Jeremy Cherson, Riverkeeper's legislative advocacy manager. We're going to have a hodgepodge of laws from county to county, city to city. Previous history shows that a plastic bag ban without a mandatory paper fee drives consumers to use more paper bags, and you don't get the goal of getting people to bring their own reusable bags. The proceeds from the nickel would be split 3 cents for the state's Environmental Protection Fund and 2 cents for the local government imposing it, state officials said. So I have mixed thoughts about this. As you know, I'm disgusted with trash in the environment. There's nothing more that I hate seeing than trash in the environment. And it's true, plastic bags are not good for the environment. They use fossil fuels, and they're not good for the environment. I think that they should be banned, but I'm against the tax on paper bags. You know, there's no reason to punish people using paper. Paper is biodegradable. Most of those paper bags are from recycled paper anyway, so it's not like you're having trees cut down. And I'm glad that they view the environment as something important, but there's so many things going on and dumping of garbage in our woods, and that is not being addressed. The fines for people who pollute our environment like this here in Deer Park, they should be heavy. They should be heavy fines. They should be fined heavily, maybe even put in jail for this. All right, because it's just shouldn't be. There are already laws on the books against dumping in the woods, but they're not enforced. And this garbage finds its way into our waterways, and nothing is done about it. I haven't seen the garbage situation get any better in Suffolk County since they passed their bag ban. In fact, I see more trash in the woods than I ever do, especially in Deer Park. It's terrible. And something needs to be done about it. It really does. You know me, I hate pollution. I hate pollution of our environment. But what you see in Deer Park is proof that the bag fees do not work. They punish low-income citizens. And in the article, they said people on food stamps would be exempt, but then again, they said that when they proposed a law in Suffolk County, and I found out the hard way that it's not. And it really only hurts seniors. It doesn't punish polluters, but I do agree with banning plastic bags. Plastic does not degrade in the environment, and we see that over in Deer Park. We can see that as we are in Deer Park right now, and taking a look at all the plastic that is dumped along the road here. There's a lot of plastic here that is going to take years and years to degrade, and that's the problem with plastic. Unlike paper, it's not biodegradable, and it stays in the environment for an extremely long time. So yes, I support a lot of these bans on plastics, but what I don't support are the fees, and I think it's a cash grab. And like I said, this stuff is not, people dump all kinds of trash. It's not just plastic bags. You got to go after the people who are dumping the stuff into the environment instead of punishing innocent people. And we see it here in Deer Park. It's terrible. I think that as far as I do think it's a good idea having it go into the Environmental Protection Fund. Maybe I'd be more likely to support a fee on the paper bags if they do go to support the environment. But this is just part of the problem. What about taxing SUVs? Look at all the SUVs just parked in this parking lot here, right? Don't you think SUVs should be taxed? Luxury cars, pickup trucks, all these vehicles that nobody needs to drive an SUV to the train station. How about that? That's excess consumption right there. Those are the people you need to tax. You need to have fees on SUVs, big fees on SUVs and pickup trucks, and any vehicle that consumes more than necessary in energy, and they pollute more too. They emit up to 5 times as much pollution as a regular car. So that's the way I feel about it. All right. I'm glad to see that people view the environment as important. But they're demonizing the plastic bag when there are so many other things that, and some things are even worse, such as these SUVs. And they're not doing anything because their friends, their corporate friends, love SUVs, and they don't want to have their SUVs taken away. And that's really what it boils down to. If you really care about the environment, you have to make sacrifices. And you have to give up these SUVs and these pickups. You don't need to drive them on Long Island. We don't live in the, look at all, looks a Range Rover. I mean, these things are terrible for the environment. They shouldn't be on the road, all right? So make it ridiculously expensive to own one, and then maybe we can finally get these things off the road once and for all. But that's the way I feel about it. So that's going to wrap up this video. Those are my thoughts on the bag fees and bag bans and stuff like that. Yes, plastics are terrible for the environment. They should be banned. In some situations, yes, they should be banned. But there are far worse things for the environment than plastic bags, such as these SUVs right here that you see. So let's do something about taxing these SUVs and punishing the people who drive them, who don't need them, instead of picking on people who need bags for their groceries. It just makes no sense to me. So that's the way I feel about it. Those are my thoughts, and that concludes this video.